organic, unpredictable, unknown, lovely, beautiful, a sense of fulfillment. This is part of the pleasures of life and not the chores of life.
Coming up on Daily Iowan TV, permitting privacy. See expert and student opinions about the University of Iowa's release of personal information.
Plus, Promised Land. See why these native sons remember Iowa City in a different way.
And in sports, down on their luck in Lincoln, our courtside staff tells you what went wrong on the hardwood over the weekend.
All that and much more is coming your way.
Daily Iowan TV starts now.
I'm Tom Brokaw. For more than 100 years now, the University of Iowa community has been waking up to the Daily Iowan. Today, it's the largest newsroom in eastern Iowa. And now you can see the news every night on Daily Iowan TV and get it anytime worldwide at dailyiowan.com.
Thanks for tuning into your Sunday edition of Daily Iowan TV. I'm Alyssa Bergamini.
And I'm Nick Robertson. The University of Iowa decided to suspend the releasing of certain student information to the county sheriff for gun permit applications. Many are still questioning how the UI handles the Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act, or FERPA. The Daily Iowan interviewed legal specialist Frank Lamonti about the UI's treatment of the law. Lamonti said, "I think, unfortunately, what we're seeing is a pattern of behavior where FERPA is an on and off switch, and it can be used to conceal what is embarrassing information." UI students also held strong opinions about the issue.
I'm not really big on the whole gun thing, but I suppose that's kind of frustrating because they're taking your personal information, not letting you know, and who knows where your information is going to. Obviously, it's going to the county, but no, I don't think that's a good thing at all.
Officials are now reviewing the permit process.
On Saturday night, Native Americans filled seats in McBride Hall. These Native Americans returned to their ancestral home of Iowa to honor an award-winning documentary. I caught up with these Native Americans yesterday to find out all about their premiere of the film. Tribe members from Oklahoma, Kansas, and Nebraska returned back to their ancestral homeland of Iowa over the weekend. The members started off the night by visiting the Museum of Natural History in McBride Hall. But the real excitement was to watch the world premiere of Lost Nation, Iowa 2 and 3. Today, the Iowa people speak English, but in the past they spoke their native language. However, one native Indian continues on the tradition. Saying, "Our relatives, this is our day." Many were moved by this because Amar and Michael Rowe were the two tribal Indians behind the film and received awards on behalf of their movement. But Michael knew that he needed to thank it to the producers.
Thank you so much for all your hard work and time you spent to bring our stories to film. We are very honored you have chosen to tell our story.
And that's exactly what Emmy-nominated producers Kelly and Tammy Rundle did. With more research, Iowa 2 and 3 was created, bringing the dramatic story to full circle. The world premiere was a cultural success, and the Iowa Tribal is now back to its original homeland. Alyssa Bergamini, Daily Iowan TV. The Rundles are currently producing their next documentary about Iowa's Highway 6, which will be released in 2014.
The UI student directory could soon be going online only. University officials are considering doing away with the physical version of the student, faculty, and staff directory, which is already available online. This change would help the university meet its sustainability goal. The university's goal is to be 60% sustainable by the year 2020.
Former Iowa football player Colin Sleeper was arrested for operating a vehicle while intoxicated. The senior from Solon, Iowa was pulled over for speeding on Sunday morning. Police reported that Sleeper admitted that he had been drinking. He was then taken into custody. Sleeper played defensive back for the Hawkeye football team for 4 years as a walk-on. And still to come on Daily Iowan TV, Up for Adoption, take a look at one University of Iowa student's journey.
And in sports, our first ever two-time winner of the Courtside's Player of the Week.
But first, we go to Mary LaPlaca with your weather report. Mary, please tell me that we are finally done with snow for this winter.
Thanks, Alyssa. I unfortunately have more snow in the forecast for you. On Monday, it will be 32 degrees in the morning, and it will stay 32 degrees throughout the afternoon with cloudy skies. And it will drop to 30 degrees by night. In our 6-day forecast, Tuesday will have our second wave of snow showers with a high of 34 degrees in the day. That will roll into Wednesday with a high of 36 degrees in the day. Thursday, we will expect a heavy fog, but we will reach 36 degrees. And more snow on Friday with only a high of 30 degrees. Saturday will be cloudy and reach a high of 32 degrees in the day. That's all I have for you for the weather. Back to you at the desk.
The University of Iowa Department of Information Computer Technology is working to fill the ongoing demand for technology graduates. Of the 500 students in the department, more than half of those students are focused in computer science. Department officials say that they are working to recruit more international students into the field in order to meet national demands.
And tomorrow's edition of the Daily Iowan will feature a special story. Callie Mitchell, a member of the Daily Iowan staff, recently gave up her son Leo for adoption. She was willing to share her story with readers through a personal photo essay and journal entries. Daily Iowan TV's Allie Wright is in the newsroom with Callie to speak with her about her story.
Thanks, guys. Well, I'm in the Daily Iowan newsroom with one of our photographers, Callie Mitchell, who has a special story to share with readers in Monday's edition of the paper. So, Callie, your story is about why you chose to give up your baby Leo for adoption. Can you tell us how you came to that decision?
Me and the birth father had broken up, and he told me that we needed to give our baby up for adoption because he needed better parents than what we could be for him. So, at first I was against it, but then I went home and I thought about it, and I thought about like all the things that I couldn't do for my son right now in my life, and I decided that adoption was the best way to go.
And why did you choose to share your story with Daily Iowan readers?
Nowadays a lot of people don't think about adoption as an option. Everybody thinks about just abortion or having the baby, so I think that it's good to get it out there and show that it is an option and it's something that you can do and it's not a bad thing. It's actually a really positive thing. So just shedding new light on adoption.
Definitely. Well, I've seen some of the photos. Our own photo editor, Rachel Jessen, was in the delivery room with you. Some really beautiful photos are coming out of this story. Be sure to tune into dailyiowan.com/mybaby-not-my-child, as well as the print edition of the Daily Iowan on Monday to see Callie's really special story. Back to you guys.
Busy week on the hardwood for both the men and women's teams, Nick.
That's right, Alyssa. Bluder's Bunch and Fran's squad both in action throughout the week and this weekend, meaning our courtside crew has a lot to cover. Guys?
Hello, welcome back to the Daily Iowan TV Sports Studio for another jam-packed week edition of our College Hoops Show Courtside.
We have, of course, to start with Saturday's result in Lincoln. And Alicia, if you are a fan of the black and gold, you might want to cover your ears. Now, why don't you tell our viewers why?
Cody, the tables could have not turned quicker for Fran's crew on the road over the weekend. After clawing back from a massive early first-half deficit to win last Sunday's game against Minnesota, Nebraska did the same thing to the Hawks in Big Red Country, fighting back after being down by as many as 19, even facing a halftime deficit of 16 points.
And as you mentioned, Alicia, the Hawks couldn't quite hold their lead, losing on a late bucket with under 10 seconds to play, falling on the road 64-60. With the heartbreaker, Fran's crew drops to 17-10 overall. That's just 6-8 in the Big Ten, 6 Big Ten wins. And as you can imagine, our four full-court press boys, Ian Martin and Ben Ross, with plenty to say about that costly loss. Guys?
Ian Martin, Ben Ross, alongside our good friend Herky the Hawk as we continue our full-court press. Last one for the month of February, and I believe the Iowa men's basketball team wants the month of February to be over after an upset loss at Nebraska this weekend, a game not a lot of people saw, and even the dulcet tones of Gary Dolphin, not enough to salvage a victory for most Iowa fans. What was the difference in this game against Nebraska, and what does it mean for the bigger picture for the Iowa Hawkeyes?
Well, it was a game of two halves. I was up 20 at half, and they just sort of blew it. Nebraska just took it all away. They weren't even really chipping away at Iowa. They just took the lead all at once. That's really it's tough for them to talk about conversation for national tourney now. They have a game against Indiana that would be a pretty big win, and I think they need a handful of wins in the Big Ten tourney to make it, to even get in the conversation for the national dance picture here.
Yeah, NIT probable for the Hawkeyes. Maybe they can make more of a run at it than they did last year, but I'm sure Fran McCaffrey would rather lose in the first round of the NCAA tournament than be in the semifinals of the NIT. Just speculation, but speaking of speculating about tournament prospects, the women lost at Nebraska this weekend as well. They're really sliding, and even though the Hawkeyes are hosting first and second rounds, which usually really helps as far as the NCAA's leniency with your record, they need to still get a couple wins down the stretch.
Yeah, this is a tale of two seasons for this Hawkeye women's squad. You know, really one of the hottest teams to start. And like you said, there really are no guarantees, but they are a bit more lenient and forgiving when you are the host team, like Iowa is for the first rounds of the NCAA tourney this year.
Well, Jamie Prunty especially kind of needs to get it going. She's been hot and cold in her senior season for the Iowa women's basketball team. They have an easy one theoretically against Indiana at home this week. The Hawkeye men's team will be playing theoretically an easy game against Purdue at home, although with both of these teams now, I don't think you can write any game off as
no
easy.
No guarantees.
Yeah, no guarantees when the Hawkeyes put on a basketball uniform, men's or women's. Well, that'll do it for this week of the Full Court Press. We'll see you guys in March, just a couple weeks away from the NCAA tournament. Ben Ross, Ian Martin, back to you guys in the studio.
Obviously a disappointing result for the black and gold, but one Hawk did fly high.
And that's Aaron White, who becomes the first ever winner, two-time winner, if you will, of Courtside's Player of the Week. The Strongsville, Ohio native has found his form again, scoring 15 points for the Hawks in his second straight game. After leading the charge in the comeback win over Minnesota just a week ago, White gave the Huskers fits on Saturday, pulling down 13 boards to go along with those 15 points.
Congratulations to Aaron for winning our Player of the Week, but the talk of the town recently, Eric May.
Eric May is Daily Iowan Sports' Josh Bolander, the story of how the Hawks' lone senior is finally back on the rise. Josh?
It seems that 2 steps forward, 1 step back will be the cruel reality for this year's version of the black and gold on the hardwood. The collapse to Nebraska, a crucial blow to the Hawkeyes' chances of making the dance come March, to having the slipper finally fit, to change what it means to hear the words Iowa basketball. And while the 64-60 heartbreaker in Lincoln on Saturday afternoon, in which the Hawkeyes fumbled a 19-point lead, may be disappointing to what has now become a ravenous fan base, no one will be more disappointed than the Hawks' lone senior, quietly playing one of the best stretches of basketball in his career here in Iowa City.
This guy, he's just playing so well. I mean, he's doing everything.
He's a tremendous leader for this ball club, you know, on the court and off the court. And he just always goes out there, plays hard, and, you know, you always know what you're going to get with him.
He makes all the little plays. You know, he feeds the post, he runs the floor, plays great defense, he rebounds the heck out of the ball.
The Iowa native was once again the lone bright spot for the black and gold in the Bob Devaney Events Center. The hybrid forward put up double digits while his team dropped a game that all but popped their tournament bubble. Despite the loss, that doesn't mean May's progression as a Division I basketball player has gone unnoticed by his head coach.
He knows our offense. He knows everywhere we have to line up. He knows what I want out of timeouts. He knows what I want when we're on the free throw line. And he is the guy that's telling everybody what we're doing.
Regardless of Saturday's game that got away, the reality of the situation is that the black and gold need to rebound quickly if it has any chance of putting its lone senior May in the NC two ways come March, something not lost on May's teammates.
We want to make this tournament for him. You know, this is his last go-around. You know, it's going to be special. We want to make it special for him.
Josh Bolander, Daily Iowan TV Sports.
And as Ben and Ian mentioned earlier in the program, Bluter's Bunch, like the men, falling in Lincoln this weekend as well.
Well, that's all for us here at Courtside.
And be sure to tune in throughout the week for everything black and gold. Back to you guys at the desk.
Only with Daily Iowan TV can you get a sneak peek at Monday's edition of the Daily Iowan. Read about how the Iowa City School District is looking to change the landscape of elementary schools.
And get a chance to view all of the photos of Callie and her journey.
Well, that's your latest edition of Daily Iowan TV. Be sure to check us out tomorrow or anytime online at dailyiowan.com.
Thanks for watching and have a great night.